Yashodanandana Bhajanaranjana Yashodanandana Bhajanaranjana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Bhajanaranjana Yashodanandana Bhajanaranjana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 20, Verse 3. Surya Sadavo Loke Naradeva Narotamaha Navijuyanti Bhutevyo Yarhi Natma Kalevaram Surya Sadavoloke Surya Sadavoloke Naradeva Narotamaha Naradeva Narotamaha Nabiduyanti Bhutevyo Nabiduyanti Bhutevyo Yarhi Natma Kalevaram Yarhi Natma Kalevaram Sudhya Sadavoloke Naradeva Narotamaha Nabiduyanti Bhutevyo Yahi Natma Kalevaram. Any of the demigods want to read? Who have our eyes to see them? Surya Sadavoloke Naradeva Narotamaha Nabiduyanti Bhutevyo Yari Natma Kalevaram. Surya, the most intelligent persons. Sadhava, who are inclined to perform welfare activities. Loke, in this world. Naradeva, O King. Nara Uttama, the best of human beings. Na Abhijuyanti, never become malicious. Bhutebhya, toward other living beings. Yarhi, because. Na, never. Atma, the self or soul. Kalevaram, this body. O King, translation. O king, one who is advanced in intelligence and eager to perform welfare activities for others is considered best among human beings. An advanced human being is never malicious to others. Those with advanced intelligence are always conscious that this material body is different from the soul. Please repeat. O king, one who is advanced in intelligence and eager to perform welfare activities for others is considered best amongst human beings. An advanced human being is never malicious to others. Those with advanced intelligence are always conscious that this material body is different from the soul. So purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. In daily life, we find that when a madman commits murder, he is excused, even by a high court judge. The idea is that a living entity is always pure because he is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he falls into the clutches of material energy, he becomes a victim of the three modes of material nature. Indeed, whatever he does under the influence of material nature. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Na kartritvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu na karma phala samyogam svabhavashtu pravartate. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. Actually, the living entity or soul does not do anything. Everything is done under the influence of the modes of material nature. When a man is diseased, the symptoms of the disease become a source of all kinds of pain. Those who are advanced in transcendental consciousness or Krishna consciousness are never envious, neither of the soul nor of the activities of the soul under the influence of material nature. Advanced transcendentalists are called Sudhiya. Sudhi means intelligence. Sudhi means highly advanced, and Sudhi means devotee. One who is both devoted and highly advanced in intelligence does not take action against the soul or the body. If there is any discrepancy, he forgives. It is said that forgiveness is a quality of those who are advancing in spiritual knowledge. So I read the purport again, the translation again. O king, one who is advanced in intelligence and eager to perform welfare activities for others is considered best amongst human beings. An advanced human being is never malicious to others. Those with advanced intelligence are always conscious that this material body is different from the soul. Nama Om Vishpadaya Krishna Prashara Bhutale Shrimati Tamal Krishna Goswami Nidhyamini. Nama Om Vishpadaya Krishna Prashara Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nidhyamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini. Nivishesha Sunyavadi Pashkacharya Shatayine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Gyanatimanasya Gyanangana Shalakaya Chakshu Omritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guru Namah. Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangam Nagarati Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatayanam. So Lord Vishnu is still speaking, right? And what is surprising is he seems to be protecting Indra, while Indra acted as a cheat. He's the one who started pseudo-religious principles. He disguises himself like a sannyasi. And he didn't do that, you would think, for a higher purpose. He did that for his own profit. It's a little bit like here in the material world we have experience. Sometimes the aggressor is portrayed as the victim. Like, oh, we have to understand the childhood of the person was bad, and the person never had a chance, so we will excuse that person. It's a little bit like that. And we ask ourselves, Maharaj Prithu had no fault. Indra started something that is still going on today in this material creation, where people fake it for their own material profit. And so why would Lord Vishnu, in a sense, not chastise Indra? Why would he allow that and ask Prithu, like we heard yesterday in class, order Prithu to forgive Indra? And let us understand also, Indra started pseudo-religious practices that sets a precedent. It's fake. Pretenders today in this material world, they pursue the same kind of activities to delude the naive, the gullible, the innocent for profit. Why does he protect Indra in that sense? So first we try to understand Indra. He's a king of heaven. He has a very stressful job. He has to manage all the affairs of the universe. It's not so easy. It's like the kings or the president or the leader. If he's actually working really hard, he also needs to be excused for whatever little mistakes he makes if he's doing his job properly. And there's an interesting fact about Indra also when we research a little bit. It has nothing to do with the verse, but I just thought it was interesting. In the Scandinavian countries, they worship Thor, who is the god of thunder. And if we look in the Vedic literatures, we look for a description of Indra. He's actually blonde with blue eyes, which is interesting when we think how all the demigods are portrayed. But it's actually in the Vedic scriptures. Indra is described, and he's quite arrogant and full of himself, and very. He's a king of heaven. What do we want more than that? It's so much so that he even challenged Krishna, right? Govardhan Puja, which we all know. So there's two things also we try to understand. So Krishna says himself, even if my devotee commits the most abominable activity, if he's rightly situated, he needs to be excused. Let him be. He continues with his service. That's the whole point. Even for us, on our level, if somebody makes a mistake or falls down or has some weakness, we don't kick the person out of service, because the only way to purify the person is through service. So we keep on engaging the person, because very quickly he comes back to the right path. Now we can see Indra is actually repentant, and he comes with Lord Vishnu, and we have to understand also who he is. What does Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita? Devanam asmi vasavaha. Devanam, of all the demigods, vasavaha. I am the king of the demigods. So Indra is actually a Shaktivesh avatar of Krishna. He is in that sense non-different from Krishna. But we also understand, right? Non-different doesn't mean he's exactly the same. No, he's got his own nature, his own character. We understand Lord Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna. Prabhupada said the only difference between the two of them is the color. One is black, one is white. Otherwise, they are exactly the same. But when we go to Mahabharata, we know the history a little bit. We know that Balaram, favorite pupil, when he was teaching both Duryodhana and Bhima how to fight with the mace, he preferred Duryodhana. He was very partial to Duryodhana. And Krishna never interfered. And that's the reason why Balaram refused to take part in the battle. He actually blamed Yudhishthira. He said he's the one who chose to gamble his wife, to gamble his whole kingdom. So what is the fault of the Kauravas? They have no fault. So he could refuse, but he also would not go against Krishna. So we understand how individuality is so real for all of us. We have to understand also when we do our devotional practice, it's very individual how we understand, how we do our service. It differs from person to person. Jai Shishi Radha Radha Nath Ki Jai. So when we go back to the first line of this translation, O King, one who is advanced in intelligence and eager to perform welfare activities for others, is considered best among human beings. So here, Lord Vishnu is eager to establish the character of Prithu Maharaj. It's a very high level of interaction. He's talking about welfare activities. What is welfare activities? It involves doing good to others. It involves compassion. Selfless service. We actually have to do it. We move ourselves. We sacrifice our efforts, our time, our actions for others. We're trying to elevate others. So Lord Vishnu, in that sense, he wants Maharaj Prithu to show that he is the best of humans. Oh, Shakti Aveshavada. He's actually a very strong, partial incarnation of Lord Vishnu. This is what Prithu Maharaj is. That's what we learn from the Bhagavatam. But still, he has his own individuality. And he wants his devotee all the time. He's always testing his devotee. Just like going back to the Mahabharata, Queen Kunti, the whole drama that went on in her life while she was without husband and small children. And you would think even Draupadi, while she was being disrobed, where was Krishna? Why did he have to wait till that moment where it was almost she was going to be stripped, almost to that point, and still he doesn't do anything unless she put her arms up in the air, like complete total surrender. Okay, now do what you want. Krishna, Krishna, help me. Krishna, Krishna, protect me. Why does he do that? Because he wants to show how he is devoted to his devotee. He'll do anything. Can you imagine, where does the idea come from? Let me supply thousands of meters of sari just to protect this helpless woman. Who would think of such a thing except for the Supreme Personality of Godhead? So he allows that to come to the breaking point, just to see, just to show to the others, come to me, I will protect you no matter what. And I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada says, not the Supreme Personality of God, but Godhead, head of all the gods. Prabhupada, in one lecture, he speaks very forcefully about that. Not just God, Godhead. This is Krishna. When we hear Prabhupada speak about Krishna, he's totally, completely convinced. Even if we are not convinced, by hearing Prabhupada, we can believe Prabhupada. we can believe what he says, because we can also see the results of his Shakti all over the world. One 70-year-old man who changes the course of history, basically speaking. So this verse we can see he's establishing the character of a devotee. Even if wronged, an advanced human being forgives. The advanced human being doesn't desire the destruction the destruction of his enemy, which is actually very, very hard. If we listen to Kshatriya speaking, they're always speaking about, I'm challenging you, I'm going to cut off your head, I will take over your kingdom. And this is what Kshatriyas speak like. It's supposed to be like that. This is a way of also inspiring them to fight to win, because Charlie Cream Puff will not be able to go and fight, a wimp, unless you also kind of strengthen your own resolution by certain way of speaking, by words. It's hard to go and do that action. So it's not so easy to forgive someone who has wronged us. Actually, I think this probably resonates with all of us. How do we, especially when we know we were not in the wrong, when we know we were trying to do a good thing, and somehow somebody comes, and it seems that now, when things kind of smoothen over, now we are the ones who have to make the effort to make things right. It's very, very hard. It's very hard for the ego. So, but an advanced human being, this is what Krishna is saying, this is what Lord Vishnu is saying. Why is that? Because what Prabhupada says in the purport, very interesting. Even if a madman commits a crime, the madman is excused. Because actually, in Uddhava Gita, Krishna is asking Uddhava, who is responsible for your suffering, for your miseries? Is it karma? Is it other people? Is it God? Who is? And Krishna replies, you yourself, you are responsible. Nobody else. And Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport how the soul doesn't cause any action. The soul is actually, in a sense, neutral. The soul is made of Sat, Chit, Ananda. That's the nature of the soul. It's not causing misery to anyone. So these are things that happen due to material nature. Like we know this picture in the Bhagavad Gita where the demigods, it's like a puppet. We are all strings. We are all attached with strings, and the demigods are moving us in that sense. So if we can understand that, already we detach. Things don't faze us. Yeah, if only we could. So that's the reason why it is so important to hear again and again and again. Because we have lived so long in this material body. So long in so many material bodies that it's natural that we identify with what we think we are, what we see in the mirror. It is so natural. Prabhupada says the spirit soul is very, very powerful, but we are being suppressed by the covering of this dull matter, which is the body. Think about it. The spirit soul is 1/10,000 part the tip of the hair. How many more bigger, how much more bigger is the body in terms of ratio? Billions, trillions, quadrillions of time. How can we not identify with this body? It's very hard. That's the reason why Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Prabhupada says, not 1 week Bhagavat Sapta. No. He said, Nityam, we always hear Bhagavatam. We never stop hearing Bhagavatam. just so that we train ourselves to know. And slowly, slowly, it starts to resonate. It starts to make sense. It starts to make sense when things that happen in the world do not affect us anymore, or they affect us from very far. Because what can you do? Even horrible things. I remember just recently, some weeks ago, my brother phoned me and he was telling me, did you see that it's on YouTube, that video? I think in Bangladesh, 15 temples were attacked. Or there were videos of Jagannath Baladev Subhadra on the floor. No, I had not seen. And temples were burned, ransacked. And he was saying, how? How? Now the faith of devotees, they take a beating. And I was thinking, oh yes, my God. But then think about it. Abhimanyu is Krishna's direct nephew. He is the son of his sister, the son of his best friend. How was he being killed? In the most cowardly way. 7 Maharatis, young boy of 16, he went into the Chaturvyuha, the formation that they had made especially to kill at least one of the great soldiers on the Pandava side. He knew how to enter, he did not know how to get out. And they had posted Jayadratha at the opening of that formation, because Jayadratha had received a benediction from Lord Shiva. He could defeat all the Pandavas except for Arjuna once. And they had tricked Arjuna into another part of the battlefield. So Abhimanyu goes in, Krishna knew. He cannot come out, and still he cannot be killed. 7 Maharatis, including Dronacharya. It didn't happen during Bhishma's time. It was after Bhishma had fallen that happened. Dronacharya, Karna, Duryodhana, all the big fighters on the other side, they are killing his horses when he's not looking. They are cutting the string of his bow while he is not looking. They are killing his charioteer while he doesn't look. They are attacking him from all sides, 7 sides. Because that is not the rule of warfare. Warfare is 1-to-1. But 7 are attacking him to kill him. Finally, he's on foot. And he has no weapons. They're still attacking him. And the son of Dushashan comes from behind with a mace and whacks him over the head. And he falls down dead. How can Krishna allow that? We don't know. Maybe Narada, maybe Brahma knows his plans, but no one knows his intentions. Nobody knows his intentions. We cannot know why things happen the way they happen. We just have to do what we have to do. There's one interesting fact that I heard in Vrindavan from the families, the Bijabasi families who are established in Vrindavan for very, very long time, for generations. So they were saying that during the time of attack, in the beginning when the Mongols were invading India, when they came into the Braj area, so we all know Mathura, temple was destroyed 3 times. But the inner Braj area, at Vrindavan, when they came, they could hardly really destroy anything. We know that Radharaman they could not find, because at that time there was such a maze of houses. They looked, they could not find. Many of the deities were taken to Rajasthan. Govindaji was from 7 story, it came down to 3. None of the deities were destroyed. And the reason we hear was when they came to Vrindavan, the sadhus in India, the powerful ones who appear and disappear, they appeared in Braj because they started freaking out that Braj should not get destroyed. And by their power, their Shakti, Braj was saved. And they normally do not interfere in the affairs of humans, what goes on, because it is so temporary. This wasn't here yesterday, it's here today, it will be finished and gone and disappear tomorrow. So sadhus, those who are self-realized, they do not interfere. They do not interfere in politics. They do not interfere in right and wrong, because there is no right and wrong for them. It's all the will of the Supreme Personality of God. That's one aspect of this purport of this verse that we are reading, the devotees. Now, I would like to also speak about the demigods. Who are they? Materialistic devotees, that's what we learn, right? Prithu Maharaj is a powerful Shaktavesha avatar. Again, he is non-different from Krishna really, and he has nothing to do with the petty quarrels, desires of managers like Indra. He has nothing to do with that. And so for him, it is not a big deal to forgive and forget. But the demigods is very interesting, how they are always fighting with the demons, and sometimes they lose and they all die, and then their priests have to come and revive them and things like that. There's always something going on. They always, especially Indra, always feels threatened. Now, we have to understand, even if they are materialistic devotees, they are powerful people who do extraordinary seva. They are real people with their own individuality, their own nature, their own character. And the whole creation runs smoothly because of these demigods doing them, managing so perfectly. Because of that, the whole, the seasons are on time, rain comes, the sun comes out, the earth produces fruits, vegetables, minerals, whatever we need is given to us. It's because of those, they are called servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they have a very very important service. So once in a while, if they throw a tantrum, Krishna is not really. It's like your pet child, your favorite child, who is actually a good child. Once in a while, when they throw a tantrum, you're not really disturbed. You kind of smoothen over that, because his service has to still go on. It still has to go on. He still has to keep on managing the affairs of the universe. But then I went to the 10th canto, where it explains, Jiva Goswami explains what the demigods really are. So in the 10th canto, we know, actually Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 85, 41 to 43, Krishna and Balaram, they are being asked by their mother to go. His mother, actually, Krishna's mother is asking, Devaki is asking to Krishna and Balaram that you brought back the son of your guru. I hardly ever saw my 6 sons. So please, can you bring them back for me? I would like to see them. So she speaks in a few verses how her desire is so strong. So Krishna and Balaram, they go down to Sutala. And there they meet the king of the Daityas, Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj is so happy to see his 2 lords. And he worships them. And he knows that they've come for a particular purpose. And so in one of the purport, so that purport 41 to 43, the translators have quoted Jiva Goswami, who explains that particular verse where Bali Maharaj is welcoming Krishna and Balaram. He explains the verse as follows, so I will read. He says, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, and Charanas are adversaries of Krishna only when they follow the lead of the demons. Otherwise, they are not. So sometimes we get influenced. We know that, actually. We've been through that too. Sometimes we get some bad influence and we may make bad decisions. So this category, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, and Charanas, sometimes they are also influenced in such a way that they become enemies of Krishna. And normally they're influenced by demons. And now he says yakshas, rakshasas, pishachas, and so on tend. These people, these ones, naturally tend to be inimical to Krishna because generally they are covered by ignorance. So whoever is covered by ignorance, generally they are inimical to God. And then he says there are some rascals in the pure mode of ignorance. That also. These ones have no names. They have no categories. Some of them, rascals in the pure mode of ignorance, like Shishupal and Pondraka, they are also totally absorbed in meditation on Krishna as their enemy. And this fixed consciousness earns them liberation. He says others in a mixed in passion and ignorance associate with the Lord with a desire for position and prestige. There are also people like that, apparently. And he says that Bali Maharaj sees himself as belonging to this category of a person who wants the association of the Lord for prestige and position. Yet, even then, thinking like he is of this category, Lord Vishnu becomes his doorkeeper. He favors Bali Maharaj by becoming his doorkeeper in the subterranean region of Sutala. And that's very interesting. Just as he favored the demons by killing and liberating them, he favors the Gandharvas by engaging them in singing his glories. It's like, so all the underdogs, it seems, Lord Vishnu is partial to them. Alternatively, on the other hand, the Lord awards sense gratification to those demigods who are proud of their being situated in the mode of goodness. And thus, they become deluded and they forget him. So, it is said, human birth is very, very rare. A human birth is rarer than the birth of a demigod. Much rarer. Because one cannot really preach to those who have such opulence that they think they are beyond and above everything and everybody. It's impossible to preach to those people. One preaches to those who are in some suffering. Like Krishna says, 4 kinds of people come to me. And the interesting thing about demigods also, they actually do not get sinful reactions. Just like animals are not subject to sinful reactions. A lion will come and eat a child. You can't take the lion to court. You can't put the lion in prison. A dog is going to bite you and give you tetanus. You can't go and, put the dog in prison, take him to task. In the same way, whatever a demigod does, they have no sinful reactions. When we read in the Puranas or the scriptures, some of them, we always see how they are always attracted to each other's wife, and they're always going with each other's wife. There is no reaction for that. We know Indra also why he has eyes all over his body. What was the reason? He gets no reaction for that. That's the nature of demigods. They break the principles and it's perfectly all right. They drink. They love to drink. They love actually alcohol. And there is no reaction for that. Only human beings get karma, get reaction to actions that they do. It doesn't seem very fair, but that's why Krishna appears amongst humans. He doesn't really appear anywhere else. Because now, in this human form of life, there is a chance. We get out of here, we never come back. It seems that the demigod planets, Bhakti Shastra is very, very minimal, even in the Vedic literatures. In the Vedic literatures, I'm not talking about the other religions that we know today, because the Vedic literatures are before that. And it talks about going to heaven in the Vedic scriptures. And that's the reason Vyasadeva was so unhappy, because he realized all I've done is tell people how to behave, how to be happy, so that they will think it's a place of happiness. They will keep on taking birth again and again here. And Narad Muni came and told him, yeah, that's what you did. Nobody will want to get out of here. It's a place of misery, actually. But so, religion actually takes us to the heavenly planets. And it seems like almost an eternity compared to our earthly years. But there's a beginning, middle and end. On the planet of the demigods also, they can do whatever they want, enjoy whatever they want. And just before they die, they have one child. Also that. I mean, we cannot imagine the degree of opulence that they have. So, I will end. It's almost time. With the end of the verse actually promotes detachment from everything that goes on. It may affect us temporarily, but because everything is temporary in this material world, we do not take it seriously. Indra's fear resonates with every one of us. Because every one of us is fearful for anything, for everything. I just talk from personal experience. We travel a lot, and sometimes on the long flights, the devotees are kind enough to buy us one of the flight back. Business, we're able to sleep, because by sleeping, you get over the time, the difference in time, and then you can function when you arrive where you arrive. But sometimes, it's only one of the trip, because I mean, it's expensive, and then we are not so great. We are, we're not like whatever. We are very small people, and so when we are boarding the flight, I always ask, is there anybody sitting between us? Because we always book a window and an aisle, and hopefully no one is sitting in between us, so that during the flight we can lie down. One of us can lie down, even if it's 3 seats, the middle is empty, you can somehow gymnastic, you can lie down and you can sleep. And there's this fear, is there anyone sitting in between us? It's actually fear. It's based on fear of my comfort. So if we analyze, it's a sense of self-realization. If we analyze many of our thoughts, many of our decisions, many of our actions, it's based on fear. There's a big festival, and there are very few chairs. Most people will have to sit down. Somebody comes, puts his bag on a chair. That's my chair. Even if I go and I stand in front and I dance, I know my chair is reserved there. It's based on fear. Everything we do is basically based on fear. Prabhupada was asked, what is the quality of a devotee, the symptom of a devotee? The symptom of a devotee. He replied, fearlessness. A devotee is fearless. Because we have this complete, total conviction. Krishna will take care of everything. So thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. If anyone would like to add something, if there is any, yes. Yeah. Yeah, right. So uh, the question is about forgiveness, and we should sometimes know that taking accountability is responsibility, and sometimes we have a culture that we should not correct anyone. Um, Totally 100% right. This is talking to the highest, one who wants to be a devotee, ones who want to achieve self-realization. For that person, these things don't matter anymore. But if it's called, the world is a world of duality, it's good and bad. On our level, if we are like managers, 100%. Now, taking accountability, the person has to decide to do that. We cannot force that. It's like if a diseased person needs to take medication, unless we get people to immobilize that person, forcibly open the mouth, and he might even kind of try to block the throat and spit it out. So that is the problem of the person. And correcting someone, this is our responsibility, each one of us. Yeah, do it, but don't be attached for what comes. I remember one time, before we started to travel, so I had a regular service in Switzerland. I would do a Raj Boga and 3 evening offerings every day. We live outside, we don't live in a temple. And I would go, and during a certain time of the year, they would have Bhakta program. And so there would be all these Bhaktas, new people, very new people, who would come and stay at the temple for a month. And when the program would be ending, one particular day, they would be cooking a feast. Now in Switzerland, the devotee kitchen, the deity kitchen is one kitchen. It's a big kitchen. It's very well organized. I mean, they're very practical, so it's very well done. But the deity kitchen, when I'm cooking for the deity, I just need a small space. So I go and have my space. So they were cooking with the big fires on the other side. And when it was done, I'm doing my offering, is separate. When their stuff was done, they're offering to the picture, and they have the plate nicely arranged. And so the person taking a picture, he realizes he doesn't have enough height. He needs to stand on something. So now the burners are on top. It's a long table. And underneath you have another shelf, or you have a huge pots underneath. He looks around, he takes a pot, he puts it upside down on the floor to climb on it. I freak out completely. And you can understand, probably. And I'm kind of almost screaming because I was, have to stop him. You don't climb on Krishna's pot. And so the organizer, they come up to me and they're trying to tell me. I said, look, they're trying to tell me I should not have done that. These are new people. He just had 1 month of training. What were you telling him? And I said, look, I do whatever I have to do. He can climb up the pot if he wants right now, but at least he has an option. He knows that he should not be doing. Whatever you want to do, that's your problem. If I don't say anything, I take part in it. I should. Yeah, if you're convinced it is something wrong, you say it. I mean, we don't have to be arrogant. We try in a helpful way. Look, Prabhuji, I mean, you don't do that with Krishna's pot. It's not different from him. But now you're free. You have free will. Do whatever you want. Does that make sense to you? And accountability, we cannot do that for someone. Yeah, we have to be detached with that one. Yeah. Anybody would want to add something to that? Okay, thank you very much. That was a nice question. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.